Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern Tasmania. Thanks for joining me this morning. Just bear with me as I check that everything's going live where it should. I think it should be. It's telling me in one place that it is. Let's see if it works on the other. As I say, I had a bit of a week off last week. Here we go. We've got some happening there. Bear with me. I'll make sure that the volume is okay. Yes, that is. Cool. I bought a new iPad and I have this really cool little stand at the left-hand side where I can watch the comments as they come through on Facebook and do the various sharing and stuff that I have to do. And I bought a new iPad and I thought I'm going to treat myself and go the big iPad, which is it's like a small computer screen, to be honest. It's huge. Anyway, but the downside is it doesn't fit my my cute little stand that I usually use to keep it steady. So if it falls down and with a big clutter today, you'll know that I've bumped it or something because it's just sitting precariously leaned up against the tripod. So anyway, we'll see how we go. But it's a glorious thing to sit there and watch YouTube videos in blurring colour. It's wonderful. Anyway, it makes me realise how actually blind I am that I was looking at this tiny little screen. Anyway, okay, so looks like there's a few people jumping on. I see Sally and Deb. Hey, Deb. The fact that Deb's on makes me think that, yes, we must be live to YouTube, so that's a good sign. So anyway, we'll get on with it. I've got nothing particularly to try and sell you today. No, I've got my current class is pretty much sold out, so watch out for the next one. And, it's pretty quiet. If you're in Hobart, though, I do have a techniques class coming up, so I've got 4 places left for that. If you're in Hobart and you fancy coming to try and get a bit inky in someone else's house, so there's no risk to your own furniture, please come over. We're doing it could be a very inky experience, and I think Sally's coming along, and I think Tammy is as well, but I've got 4 spots if everyone's still keen. 3 cards, $20, a couple of hours of your time. We'll have a cuppa in the middle, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Anyway, okay, so Surfing Santa. I've shown you this little guy before. I actually used it to make what did we decide we called it? A pop-out easel card. This is the one I made previously with this little Surfing Santa guy. And, so that's one that we've made. We're not going to make that one today. We've already made that. So if you like the look of that, pop back in the history of my videos and you'll find that one. We're going to make this one, which I saw something similar on Pinterest. Thought it would be great to have our little Santa sitting there at the front with his the sun and the clouds and the waves behind him there. And my ulterior motive is that I'm having a Aussie Christmas theme to our group swap. So I thought with 2 of these and those 2 of the little other ones with our Surfing Santa, it was definitely an Aussie themed Christmas, or I shouldn't just say Aussie, it should be a Southern Hemisphere themed Christmas, because I'm sure our New Zealand watchers have the same hot Christmas. Anyway, so that's what we're going to make today. I had a wee bit of a play with the measurements. I started with something a bit like this, which was flatter and wider. Decided that I didn't that I liked it a little bit higher and not quite so wide. So that one got put in the I'll say the rubbish bin, but got discarded and ended up with this size and a slightly different hole. But I will pop the measurements up for you if you want to give it a go. You've probably seen this sort of card collapsed, but with a whole card base around it. So like a card base that wraps around the outside rather than just at the bottom. So I've seen those, but they don't make a feature of this big area here. So I like this big area here to be more of a feature. Plus, lazy me, I couldn't be bothered decorating the outside of another card, so I just wanted to stick with that. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. Just pop into Pinterest and I'm sure you'll find what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is our Surfing Santa. He's so cute. and so cool that I sort of really, really like him. I'm struggling with the current mini catalogue, and I know a lot of my team members and customers have reached out as well to say that they don't really feel connected with the current mini catalogue. There's some designer series paper there that I absolutely adore, and I'm using it in my current classes. But as far as some of the bundles, I'm struggling a wee bit, but I do love my Surf and Santa. So if you think you haven't seen much from me about the current catalogue, you're probably right. I haven't bought a lot, and I don't plan on buying any more, to be honest. It's just, can't love everything all the time, can you? You can't. So, and you have to be careful these days. I mean, you can't buy everything just for the sake of buying it. You have to be, these days, a little bit picky about what you buy. So we're starting with a card base. Now, no prizes for working out the dimensions of this particular piece of pool party cardstock. It's 11 inches long, 4 1/8 inches wide, and it's been scored at, I'll put it that way, 5.5. So that's just smack bang in the middle, 5.5 and 8 3/4. 8 3/4. So you really just need to have a bit of a play. This one here, as you can see, it's a square. This is the one that I rejected. So this one I would have scored it in this second part, I would have scored it in half just to give a perfect square. Whereas this one I want it to be slightly higher than it is wide. You can see there it's slightly higher than it is wide. So that's why that score there is pushed slightly out to the right-hand side. So just have a bit of a play. Grab some scrap cardstock and see what dimensions you like. But anyway, so this one, 5.5, 8 3/4, and that gives us the base for our card and like three of our 4 walls. So we have to create that 4th wall for our little box there. So we'll pop that aside and I'll show you the piece that makes the wall. So this little piece here is the piece that we've got 2 little tabs there to glue, obviously to glue it to the card base, and I've cut a hole in it. So the hole is probably the bit that I'll show you so that you don't think I've left you in the lurch. This one, you can see there nice and close up there. It's a stitch. I actually found a die in the retired stitched rectangles that was exactly the right shape for the hole that I wanted. But if you haven't got a die that's exactly the right shape, you can actually cut that out with your trimmer, and I'll show you how I did that. So there's no confusion. I'll grab my trimmer. So this piece of cardstock with the dimensions that I've chosen, this piece here would be an inch higher. So that's 4 1/4, and the same width as your card, so 4 1/8. So 4 1/8 is the width of the card, and 4 1/4 is the height. That height there, plus 1/2 inch tab at the top and 1/2 inch tab at the bottom. So in this case, 4 1/4. So I'll cut that and show you how to cut the centre. So 4 1/4 high and 4 1/8 wide. Okay. Then you need, obviously, to cut your tabs at the top and bottom. So that's this one, isn't it? 4 1/4. That's 4 1/4. What did I just do? 4 1/4 by 4 1/8. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so on the, I'm just going to make sure I get that right. On the long side, you want to go 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. To give yourself, that's the tab top and bottom. Like that and like that. And then I think a nice gap around the edge to have a frame. I think a nice frame is 1/2 inch width any skinnier and it starts to be a bit flimsy. But I think if you leave 1/2 inch of the actual window frame, you'll be fine. So with my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and I'm sure most trimmers will be the same, you can actually position this. You can position your cardstock at the 1/2 inch mark and actually position it also with the trimmer on the side, so it's 1/2 inch up from the score, and then just take it to 1/2 inch at the top. So make sure that's right. That's 3 3/4. Yep, that's it. So there's my first line. Then I found it easier to actually turn it the full 180 degrees and do the same thing. Make sure it's 1/2 inch out there and take it down to where you want it at the bottom. So you've got 2 holes, two of your 4 surfaces. And then I'm going to line it up there and line it up with my trimmer and take it out completely. To be honest, it probably is neater if you can find a die that is the right size, or if you're just happy to wing it with a die and get it roughly right. But there you are. And of course, if you've got a die that might be the right width but is a little bit narrow, you can always line it up and cut it twice. So cut it the first time and then line it up and cut it the second time, if you have one that's close but no cigar type thing. Okay, so there's our little window for that one, and that's the same as what I've done here. So there we are. So that's how you do the little window if you don't have an appropriately sized die. And the window for this particular one, I'll tell you the window size, so you know what sort of size die you're looking for. That's about 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. So if you're copying my instructions and you've got a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, you can cut it with your die. So there we are. Okay, so let's get this party started. So we're going to add our little window to the front of our card here. So it's not particularly square, but we'll add it with some glue. Now I found it easier to add with glue because, as with our glue, the normal thing with our glue, we have a lovely little window of wriggle room where you can make sure it folds flat. This is the top, so I'm going to glue that to the top edge of the card. I'm just lining up the score with the edge of the card base, just there like that. Fold it over, make sure it's all lined up nice. Bit of wriggle room with the card, with the glue, and that's lined up nice there. Okay, I'll give that a couple of seconds to harden off. Then we're going to glue it to the bottom. So as you can see, it will form sort of a rectangle there. I think that's sturdy enough there to fiddle with. Okay, so a little bit more glue at the bottom there. And this time we're going to curl it over so that it forms that rectangle. So I found the easiest way, because we want it to lie flat when it's folding in an envelope, is fold that down like that and then just close it. And that might freak you out, but trust me, if you close it over like that, because now you've sample folded it. You know, we always say, or I always say, when you're doing a fun fold class, make sure that you sample fold it so that it's going to sit in your envelope nicely. There's nothing worse than putting your heart and soul into a fun fold card and then realising that you can't fold it closed and get it in the envelope. So that's that there. So folded it closed like that, and that's obviously stuck to the bottom like that, and we've got our little window box. Okay. It should also fold flat that way with all the measurements, but it's not as important as it folding flat that way so you can get it into the envelope. Okay, so now rest of it's just fun and games with actually decorating our beauty here. So I don't know what I've got that for. That must be for stamping. I've got this really nice Night of Navy Pool Party Designer Series paper. Now, this is from the All Things Festive Specialty Designer Series paper. I featured it in a class here a wee while ago. Didn't get to use the blue, so I had plenty of it left over. It's got a lovely blue gingham on the back, but I'm going to use this herringbone here. So I've cut this one. That's just the right size to fit on the top. So the top, if you're using my measurements, and as I say, I will put my measurements in the description. And tell me where my ruler is. Can you see my ruler? Did I drop it on the ground? No. Okay. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, if you're using my measurements, the top ends up being 4 1/8 wide, because we've already discussed that. And the top ends up being 2 1/4 deep. And the whole thing, the whole card, ends up being 3 1/4 high by 4 1/8 wide. So the piece of paper here I've got is 4 inches wide and 2 1/8 deep. And that gives us a 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Or 1/16, but an 1/8 of an inch. There we are. So I'm just going to sit that on top there, just to decorate it. Now, when this card is closed, you'll see that piece of cardstock there, but that at the moment that piece there is empty. So what you could do is grab another piece of your Designer Series paper and add it there. What I'm going to add is just a piece of white, and the reason is there's nowhere else on this card to write your personal message. So we will add a piece of white there, and you can add your personal message or a follow-on or whatever to your little note from the family. What we did in 2024. Actually, you could probably fit what I did in 2024 on the back of that, I reckon. It wouldn't even have to write too small. It's been quite a busy year, but not really a productive one. I've been busy all the time, but I don't know how much I actually achieved. Well, I got the greenhouse up, that's something. Made some lovely cards, that's another. So that's 2 things. Got the greenhouse up, made some lovely cards. That's a pretty good list of achievements. Okay, so I've got another piece of the a little bit festive paper, and I'm going to put that here on the what we call, I suppose, would be the card inside, the inside of the card, I suppose. I keep wanting to call it the stage or the forecourt, because that's what it looks like if this is sort of a little window in there. It's like the courtyard, isn't it? So I'll pop that there. Okay, I haven't done any of the fun bit yet. And we've got another piece of white. So this piece of white, and I've left this to the last minute because I wanted to show you the card in its entirety before I started decorating on the inside and confusing things. This piece of white is going to pop in there at the back, but we've got to decorate it first. Okay, so we'll do the decorating now. So that's our card basically done. We've got our panel on the back. And did some mosaics. Yes, I did that. I did that too. Good thinking, Deb. Maintained some wonderful friends. That's another one. Yeah, so we've got a piece at the back. So when it's closed, it looks like that. Okay, so if that worries you, I suppose you could decorate the other side and make that the front of the card, but then it opens upside down. Or you could put some decorations or some whatever you want. As I say, make the paper a complete length and put something on there to decorate it. But as I say, I think the star of the show is when it's open, so I wasn't going to worry too much about what it looked like when it's closed. Okay, but we are going to decorate this now. So going to give Santa a bit of a sunny seaside background. So that's what we're going to do. I've got my beautiful blending brush and my Pool Party ink. I'm going to give it just a very soft Pool Party sky. It's probably not a natural blue colour for a sky, but, you know, I wouldn't complain. If I woke up to a Pool Party sky, just going to do it fairly sort of dark at the top, and then leave it to sort of taper to nothing about 2/3 of the way down, because we're going to bring in the waves. So there we are, just a little bit of a pool party sky. Oh, I put the lid, my glue lid, onto my blending brush. That wouldn't have worked. I'm obviously too excited. Then we'll grab, oh, there's a bit of a giveaway. I've already done Santa. There you go, Santa. We'll grab our waves. Now this Surfing Santa, he has some cool waves that go with him because, you know, he's surfing and all. There we are. So I'm going to pop some waves again in Pool Party. And I always have to remind myself which way the waves actually go. They go that way. So I'm going to just layer up with some waves. Okay, so there's some waves in the background of Santa there. And we'll leave that. Now I want to have the sun, but I've already sponged that. So I'm going to actually stamp the sun on a scrap of cardstock and cut it out and fussy cut it. Give that squeak. Oh no, there's a splodge. Where'd that come from? That's right, I'll cover it over with the sun. Okay, so let's grab our sun from our Santa. So what else we have in that little Surfing Santa? We have a couple of sentiments which are cool. Some presents. Obviously Santa's delivering some presents on his surfboard, which is sort of super cool. A nice little shell. Some splotchy sand there. I thought maybe I could use that around the edge, but I've left it too late. And there's our sun there. So we're going to use our sun. Had our my eldest and his partner over for tea last night, and I'm just seeing whether I've got a smaller piece of cardstock to use rather than wasting that beautiful one. So we'll use this one. Had my Ben and Izzy over for tea last night, and we had pizza, and there's leftover cold pizza in the fridge. I was very tempted to have it for breakfast this morning. I know that's disgusting. I do love a little bit of cold pizza. I was very tempted, but I thought, no. Haven't been exercising any self-control so far this spring. I need to fight the urges to eat cold pizza for breakfast. So I haven't eaten it. Although it is with things that are in the fridge that you want to eat, they do tend to call you. Probably lost about 200 subscribers there, just admitting that I crave cold pizza. Actually, I probably lost another couple of hundred by doing a non-traditional Christmas card as well. Oh, overshot the mark there. Just going to fussy cut. Now I'm being a little bit careful with fussy cutting my sun because I didn't want it just to be a flat circle, because I want to be able to see our beautiful sky. So I just don't want it to look like a blump, a bit of a circle that's been plopped down. I want to actually have it look like a sun. Nothing wrong with cold pizza, exactly, Jen. If we weren't supposed to eat cold pizza, you wouldn't have Tupperware containers. I do put more than cold pizza in my Tupperware containers. Actually, I was heartbroken to see that Tupperware are they going into liquidation or closing down in Australia? I couldn't believe it. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I know Kathy, who watches, was selling Tupperware. If you're watching this one, Kathy, is that true? Is Tupperware closing in Australia? I have seen that they were selling bread bins or something at the post office, which I thought was a bit weird, but yeah. Thing is that it's like Stampin' Up. The product is such good value, you probably only have to buy it once every 20, 30 years, and it lasts a lifetime. So, you know, as far as a business model is concerned, there's no built-in redundancy. You don't have to keep buying it. Yes, we may have to go to garage sales, Jen, and get my Tupperware fix. I did actually deck out a couple of shelves in my pantry with Tupperware, so it's I have done my share to support the company over the years. But, you know, as I say, you just buy it once and it lasts a lifetime. I'll probably be handing down my pantry ware to the kids in the will, I reckon. So there's my little son. I've just given him a little bit of a crimple up so that he sort of has a slight, sort of stands out a wee bit. Not too much, but just a wee bit. And I've covered over my splodge there. So there's Santa's background. So we're going to pop that in our card. Okay, so I'm going to open up a poll here. No, I'm not going to do an actual poll. When you eat cold pizza, and there's a few of you that are now admitting that you do eat cold pizza, when you eat cold pizza at whatever time of the day, do you heat it up or do you eat it cold? I don't know. I'm often sort of like, I'd really like it to be the same as it was the night before, but it's never quite the same. So do you heat up your cold pizza, in which case it's not cold pizza, it's reheated pizza, or do you just eat it cold straight out of the fridge, or even let it heat up to room temperature, maybe, if you're a bit of an adventure seeker? Both. Evelyn eats it both. Depending on how desperate you are to get it into your mouth. Do I have 2 minutes to put it into the microwave, or do I need this cold pizza now? Cold, both. Jen says both. Vicky heats it up. So do you microwave it, Vicky, or do you put it in the oven? I think putting it in the oven would take too long. I think I'd be too desperate by the time I actually got to eat it. Okay, so there's Santa's background there. So you could do, if you were making this card, you could do whatever you wanted in the background there. So you're doing some trees, or you're doing something that's like, you just match it with whatever you have in the foreground. I know I'm going to make another one. I'm going to make a Christmas version where there's some, and I'm going to say ephemera, or people sort of laugh every time I use the ephemera, but there's actually a truck with some trees in the ephemera pack. So I thought maybe I'll put the truck with the Christmas tree there and then put the trees in the background. So, yeah, you can make whatever sort of scene you want to. You microwave, Donna microwaves it for 2 minutes. Oh, yum. That's it. After I finish here, I'm definitely going to have some pizza. Okay, so I know I said I was going to, this frame at the front is very plain. So if that worries you, Santa has, and I was thinking about doing it myself, a little shell there that just goes with the whole seaside theme. So you could just grab your Pool Party ink or a tone on tone and put that little shell around the outside. I think also the presents would fit if you just did tone on tone around the outside with the presents as well. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's pop Santa on. So Santa's already been, no dyes with this one, sadly. So I've already coloured him and fussy cut him. I've stuck basically to the same sorts of colours. I have a terrible habit of just sort of going too crazy with colours, and then everything looks a bit, discombobulated. So I've stuck to roughly the same colours that we've used in the rest of our card. He's got real red hat, of course, and shorts. His shorts are a combo of real red and light shaded spruce. His surfboard is Daffodil Delight, and his glasses are black, obviously, and I think I've just given him a little brown glass of something, liquid refreshments there. So he's been done. Also, I have a couple of presents. Again, stick to the same sort of colour. They're real red and shaded spruce. And you do get a spare couple of little loose ones there as well, but I don't know if I'm going to use those. I didn't in the original. So we need to do the foreground now for Santa with his surfing. I'm going to give him a couple of waves so that he can actually be in those waves at the front as well. Now, there's the ulterior motive to this in the fact that I wanted to make the front a little bit more substantial so that I actually had something to glue to the edges. Okay, so if it was just Santa, he probably would, he wouldn't stick because he'd only have a couple of sticking points there to actually stick to the outside. If it concerns you, and I was thinking about this overnight, grab yourself a square or a rectangle of acetate, clear acetate sheet, glue that in behind to form a clear window, and then you can glue whatever decoration you want. I'm quite happy just to leave that open, and I have to admit that I have no acetate in the craft room at the moment. But if I had some, I might layer it behind there so that you can stick your Santa or whatever else you decided to decorate your card with. No guessing as to what goes into my next order. I've got to get some clear acetate. Anyway, I'm going to give Santa 3 waves to give him a little something to sit on. So that's 1, 2, and I am going to have to use another piece of cardstock. Have I got a piece that's big enough rather than breaking into a whole new piece? Hang on, I'll check. I hate breaking into a whole new piece just for one wave. The scraps box. Okay, so I'm going to fussy cut this. I was just thinking of the same thing. Yes, Deb, I'm sure you were. Yes, so acetate would work, but admission, I haven't got any. So needless to say, ladies who do my fun fold classes, acetate won't be featuring anytime soon until I actually buy some. Okay, so I'm going to fussy cut these little waves as well, so just bear with me. They're not overly fussy to fussy cut. How fussy did I get? Not very. Team ladies, if you're watching and you're in my team, the Chatty Stampers, my wonderful team, who don't realise it, but they do get me through the hard times. Remember to, if you're going to pop along to On Stage, registration starts on the 6th of November. It was available for quite some time. It used to be in years gone by. On Stage and things like that would sell out in the first morning. So I would always say to my team, sit there with the refresh button until on the first day or you won't get in. But last time, and I think it's because it's not a cheap event and things are a little bit tight for everyone at the moment. The last couple have been available for quite some time. But, yeah, I wouldn't leave it too long if you're planning on coming along. If you are and you'd like to stay in the same place, just reach out. I'll tell you what my hotel is if you'd like to come along and stay at the same place as me. And the young Jan Casey, who I don't think is on. I've seen Vicky, but I haven't seen Jan. So Jan and Rebecca. I did see Rebecca on. Where is the ink pool party? Yes, it is, Donna. Yeah, we're I would say we're going to have a threesome in our bedroom, but that's not what I mean. There's 3 of us sharing a room, or 2 rooms, 2 rooms and a couch. And the funny thing is, my husband Stephen came with me to On Stage last year. I was presenting, so I think he wanted to make sure I was okay and not too stressed. Anyway, he came along to On Stage last year, and during On Stage last year we found out it was going to be in Brisbane this year. And I remember, and Jan remembers as well, remember him saying, we told him, we came back from the day's events and we told him it was in Brisbane, in 2025. And we both swear he said, "Oh, that's great, but I don't have to come next year." So that's fine. I was really pleased that he did come, but, you know, it's a girl thing. Anyway, so I'm 99.99% sure that he said he didn't want to come. And then as soon as I started looking around for rooms to book in Brisbane yesterday or last week, he said, "Oh, that's great. When are we going to Brisbane?" So he changed his mind. He wanted to come. I told him, sorry, already booked. I don't know how he'd go bunking in with me and Beck, Rebecca and Jan. He'd probably be totally out-girled, I reckon. Anyway, so that's cool. So there's my 3. Thank you for sitting through my garble while I cut out my waves. Now, before I put my waves on, I'm going to actually attach them to Santa so that they're all together. I'm going to pop 2 behind and 1 in front. Let's put that there. I'm just popping a little bit of glue on the back of Santa's surfboard and bring in 2 waves behind him. Like that. And I want him to be at a bit of an angle of them, so like he's riding the wave like a surfing pro. Put another one behind him there. Like that, and then this last one, I have that in front. So as you can see now, we've added a whole lot of nice surface area there where I can attach Santa to the card properly without him having issues. There he is, surrounded by waves, and the presents, these little presents here, I'm just going to pop those precariously on the top front of his surfboard. There you go. So he's such a surfing pro that he can surf and juggle presents at the same time. So there we are. So that is going to sit on the front of our card. So looking at it there, if I pop that there like that, it's going to, and then this is because I don't have any acetate, it's going to actually touch the card here at the edge of his arm. So I'm going to pop some glue there, and then along the bottom here on his waves. So I'm going to pop some glue there as well. As I say, if you had acetate, pop that in behind and you wouldn't have such worries as me. But that's what I'm doing. Okay, so he's got glue where he's going to actually touch. Bring that in and glue it. Oh, stuck to my hand. Now, thing to be careful here, it is going to close down that way. So make sure it's not so close to the edge that you can't close it. And be careful you don't go too far over the edge as well, so that you go outside the footprint of the card. There we are. So he's there in the foreground. Only a couple of things to add to him now. I'm not putting any bling with this one, and obviously I'm not putting any ribbon with this one. So you can relax, Deb. You don't have to tell me to remember the ribbon, but I am putting a couple of little sentiments. So I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon ink, which is the darker version of Pool Party. Well, in my book it is. I'm going to use both sentiments, Warm Wishes. Just going to cut little rectangles of cardstock the right size. This is just a little scrap from something I've done in the past. So make it a little square. Warm Wishes. And then the other one is May your days be sunny and bright, which is lovely. It's like play on the Merry and Bright. Trim these down. Hands are a little bit uncertain today. I can feel them shaking. Maybe it's the thought of pizza. Okay, so the Merry and Bright, or the Warm Wishes, I'm going to pop that there on the front. Again, just to give a little bit more sort of a little bit more sticking points for that front there. So I'll pop some glue there. Yeah. And the May your days be sunny and bright, I'm going to pop on the front. No dimensionals I don't think are needed here, basically because the card closes flat like that, so any dimensionals you pop in here are going to stop it from closing properly. So put that there on the front. And that, my dear friends, is our Santa pop-up window box. I only called it a box because there was a box there, so ladies who don't like boxes, don't worry, it's not, it's just a big box. There you are. So there is our Surfin' Santa window pop-up box, whatever you want to call it. As I say, I grabbed it. There was several versions of it on Pinterest, and I just sort of adapted it to the size I wanted for our envelope size and everything. So there we are. So that's Surfin' Santa. As I say, one of the ones that I really like from the current mini catalogue. And that's sort of saying something because there's only a couple of things there. But anyway, so there you are. Hope you like that one. Give it a go. I'd love to see what you came up with, how you decorate it, you know, how you use the sort of the panorama or the diorama or whatever. That's what it reminds me of. You know, my kids did at primary school, they did those dioramas, you know, where they created a sort of little scene inside a box. So there you go. That's a diorama with Santa at the beach. Okay, so swap, ladies. There's 2 swaps there. 2 swaps there. I've done my 4 swaps. How cool is that? If you are a swap lady, the partners will be up today or tomorrow. So just look and see. And if you did want to be part of the swap, look for the post in our Facebook group. And if you get in before this afternoon, I can pop you in. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. Any questions about anything, please reach out. As I say, as soon as I finish here, I'll pop the measurements. I'll do my conversions to centimetres and pop the measurements in the comments. So I'll be in the comments on Facebook and in the description on YouTube. There we go. Anyway, love to see what you come up with, so let me know. Okay, thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your weekend, and